Hello and welcome to this brief introduction into Harvard referencing brought to you by the Library Learning Services. This session we are going to have a small look at the background, purpose, method, resources and support that are available to you when you need to start Harvard referencing. Anytime we are using a referencing method, we are doing so to engage in academic integrity. Academic integrity is connected to honesty, trust, respect, fairness, and responsibility. So ultimately then, can you tell me what you think referencing is? I'll just give you a few seconds to think about that question. So, referencing is the method used to acknowledge where we get our information from. Okay, so it's all about being academic and honest and academically integral and being trustworthy and engaging with the reader and our audience in telling them where we've got our information from. So we always think of referencing, particularly Harvard referencing, as this really formal process, but I disagree with that. I think that we reference all the time, particularly anyone who uses social media. If you tag someone, if you @ someone, if you do a hashtag, you're creating connections backwards and forwards for the reader, for your friends to come and see and access pieces of information. Essentially, you're creating directions to go to and access lots of different sources via WhatsApp, via social media, via various avenues for different people in your life to access information, whether that's text media or digital media or audio. You know, there's lots of different routes that we might direct someone to access something. That said, we are in a formal academic setting, and particularly in academic writing, we have to engage with the reader and their expectations. So our mystery reader, our teacher, they may not know who we are necessarily, particularly if it's a blind assessor, as in the assessor doesn't know who the identity of the student is. So the one thing that they do know is that you are a student on the course and therefore you are not yet an expert. So what the purpose of an assignment is to assess if you can A, locate a source of information, B, read and access and engage with that information, and C, can you repeat it back, can you paraphrase, can you consume that information to explain it back to another person. Okay, so in that process you are directing that reader to that source of information, that expert that you found. Okay, so there are two main ways that we do this. There are in-text citations, which indicate to the reader to see below for the full address of the reference, and the reference list itself, which directs the reader out into the world to go and find that original source. So here we have the examples of that, the in-text reference and the reference list itself. Smith 2020 said ... Smith 2020 indicating to the reader that an external source has been used, that the evidence has been supplied by another person. And if you were to go to the reference list, you could find Smith 2020 with the title and the location information for that original evidence. So then, in referencing, there are many different styles. Particularly this video is all about Harvard referencing. And I like Harvard referencing because it has the 4 W's of referencing. It has who wrote it, when did they write it, what is it called, and where can I find it? So anytime you come across a source of information, if you can jot down the 4 W's of who, when, what, and where, you will be able to create a Harvard reference. Typically in note-taking, you become better at referencing the more you do it. So in the initial stages, as long as you jot down the 4 key elements, you can tidy them up later on. So then we have an example here of referencing a journal article. So we need to identify who wrote it, what year it was written, what is the title, and where you found it and when you accessed it. Okay, so we would look at the document and see if we could identify those various elements and pull them together into a reference. So then here we have an example reference where I've pulled through the information from a document. We have an example of the author being Heap, written in the year 2021. The document is called Teaching Referencing from the Library Journal, and it's available at this URL, and it was accessed on the date. So we can pull through those various elements into our reference. Here we have an example reference list going by alphabetical author name, BBC, Bowman, British Gas, Department of the Environment and Hallwood. And now we've ascertained the pattern of the 4 W's. We can see that that pattern is replicated in our reference list. We can identify who wrote it, when it was written, what is it called, and where is it available at. Note for electronic items, there is also an access date. This is because electronic items can be deleted or edited, and as part of our academic integrity, we are saying that as of the date that we saw it, it did pertain and contain the information that we are stating it does. There we go then. So what support is available? There is a lot of support with referencing. We fully appreciate that this is not something many people are accustomed to, that it's new to a lot of people, that it's a process that feels really a bit weird to get into the habits of. So then, one of the things that you can do is access our online tool called Cite Them Right Online. This is an online resource paid for by the library to support every staff and student at the institution so that they are all able to access the same information about referencing styles, the format, the content, etc. It's a really nice project where you can investigate the different types of projects that you have identified. Is it a book? Is it a journal? Is it a website? And look for the information and content and order of the different references depending on that original source of information. Here you can see that we have selected the source type of a journal article, selected the heading of Harvard, and we can go down and see the citation order following that 4W pattern. And underneath we give an example of an in-text citation and a reference list. And on the right hand side we have a you try box. So if we've pulled through those 4 pieces of information, we can type the information into the you try box and paste it into our assignment. We also have our library search, which comes with its own integrated set of tools. So if you are using specifically academic materials, academic books, academic journals, it does have the benefit to having this inbuilt citation feature, whereas external tools such as contextual information, websites, specialist resources, other databases, you would have to manually reference it. So then you would use the resource Cite Them Right Online to check the referencing information which is required for your notes and for your assignment. We also have academic writing workshops where you can learn about integrating those in-text citations and translating the informal knowledge that you have gained in class into that formal academic writing style that is used at university. We also have specifically librarian and academic skills tutor appointments. These are one-to-one appointments. We offer two types of appointment. The first one is a discussion, either done in person or via Teams, where we talk to you about your assignment, what is required, the elements that you need support with, such as referencing, and give you that guidance, feedback and advice. We also offer draft reading of assignments, so read and review appointments done via email. These are nice because you don't have to be present. You submit the assignment, we read through it, look for those repeating themes and errors, and give you guidance and advice on how you can make improvements and send that back to you. Specifically, we have introduced a just referencing appointment, just ref, where you can submit your just referencing related questions and queries. Okay, thank you very much for watching this short video. As I said, it is a really brief introduction into Harvard referencing. If you would like to know more information, please do get in touch with your academic librarian and skills tutor who can give you advice, guidance and information specific to your course and subject area.